I'm very happy to make this interview, this podcast with Mr. Owen Davies. Hello, Owen.
Hey, Ivo. Hi, everyone.
Thank you that you are okay to do this short interview with you. I want to tell to represent you a little bit. Owen, we raced together in the Pirin 66, which were 70, I think, from my watch. And Owen there finished second with very good time, several minutes behind the first. And even I remember that you told me that this race was something like training for you and you didn't push too much. After that I saw Owen's Facebook and I saw the history that he has with some Greek races, and after that the Strava, and I think here close to me sitting very powerful runner close to me. Tomorrow we are going to race in the same distance, so please,
The Mortals race.
yeah, please tell me a little bit about yourself. From how long are you running? Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll keep it brief. I suppose my first sport was cycling. I competed in road racing and time trial when I was a junior. But I got disillusioned with this sport because of the doping, which is endemic, or at least it was at the time. And I took a break. I think I started running probably when I was 24, so about 10 years ago.
Okay.
And trail running about 6 or 7 years ago. I was teaching at the time in Spain, and ultra running I think started for me when I visited Greece the first time. Actually, I was cycling. I was bicycle touring. I had rediscovered cycling in a more pleasurable way by this time in my life, and I was cycling across Europe. And my idea was to go through Greece, through Turkey into Central Asia, but it didn't happen because I decided to enter one big race in the Olympus Massive in Greece. So on Mount Olympus there are many beautiful trails, and there is one particular race in September called Lost Trail, about 56 kilometers, 4,000 meters of climbing, and that was my first ultra, and I really fell in love with the sport from that moment onwards. And it was mainly the community actually of people that, you know.
So you have the more of your trail running histories in Greece?
Yeah, I would say so. I definitely learned to run in the high mountains, living
In Olympus especially?
Yes, on the Olympus Massive. Previously, I was living in northern Spain, which, as you may know, is a kind of mecca for mountain running.
Yeah.
In the Basque Country, there are many strong mountain runners, but it's not high mountain. It's not like in the Pyrenees. The highest climbs are about 1,000 to 1,400 meters. So yeah, Greece was where I really learned how to run in the mountains.
And do you think that the bicycle, the bike, and all this history that you have with this sport helped you to gather this base, aerobic base? And
definitely, I think a lot.
You are running quite good.
I think a lot of runners can relate to that if they come from another sport and they have that endurance background. It's quite transferable. So long days out on the bike, okay, it's not the same stimulus, of course, as running, but it definitely prepares you for the long efforts in the mountains.
And you said that you were traveling only with bike, the whole Europe almost?
Yeah, I mean, I'd done a few bicycle tours previously. I'd gone through Portugal and Spain and through Eastern Europe and the Balkans, and yeah, I wanted a break. I decided to stop teaching, and my plan was to cycle and see where I ended up. I didn't have an end goal or destination, but because I allowed myself this freedom, I ended up pursuing different goals, specifically running. I was living in Greece for almost 2 years because of the pandemic, and during that time I competed in several races and really developed as a runner.
Okay, and what do you do for living?
So I was teaching, and I still have a few teaching clients, but right now most of my work is freelance writing, editing, proofreading, and this is good because it enables me to work remotely. I also started working in outdoor education last year, which I think is really important because we need to encourage the younger generation to connect more with the natural world, and if we can do that through outdoor activity, it's even better, I think. This is something which is a long-term goal of mine as well, to work as a mountain leader and possibly to work as a cycle leader as well. So yeah, I've got a few things going on. Running kind of is a lifestyle, as you know.
Yeah.
So you make it work.
It's a big motivation in my life. I think, and I see that in yours also.
Yeah, I was very impressed because actually I ran in the race, in the Gold Border race, which was the week before Pirin, which started and finished in, what was the town?
Katri was the name.
Yes, but the name of the town?
Zlotograd.
Yes, Zlotograd.
Yes.
So I realized you had won the Queen race the week before.
Yeah.
And then you were there next week. And I had a terrible experience in the 60-kilometer race there because I had food poisoning from 2 days ago.
Oh.
So although I more or less finished the race, I said, okay, I have to do something else. I mean, I'm still fresh, and I knew about Pirin. It wasn't on my agenda, but I said, why not? I can take the train. I don't have to cycle back through the Rhodope. So I cycled to Plovdiv, took the train, and that's where we met in the race.
You were super fresh there.
Yeah, I think the first time I saw you was after I went the wrong way, and then you and...
yeah, I go more in the wrong way there.
Well, we both went wrong again after the first big pass.
Yeah.
But it was a great race. I really enjoyed that.
And the terrain for me, it's really different from almost all the other races. And
For
Olympus
sure.
is something like that, maybe on the tops.
The races that go there tend to stick to the paths, and Pirin has sections of open mountain where, okay, there are paths, but sometimes you can't really see anything. You're just following flags, or you're navigating using the topography of the land. So I think from that perspective, it's something special. There aren't many races that have that in Europe.
What did you participate in Olympus Marathon?
No, so that's without doubt the biggest trail running race in Greece, and one of the oldest. I know the creator of that race very well, and now he has 3 other races in the Olympus Massif, and I would say the hardest ultra is generally considered to be the Olympus Mythical Trail, which is in the first week of July every summer, and that has about 30 kilometers above 2,000 meters in the Alpine zone. So it's a real test if you're looking for a good mountain challenge in Southern Europe. That's definitely one to do.
I was the last year in the Olympus Marathon, and I was super surprised by the concurrence there, by all the players that shone.
Okay.
I was thinking that I'm good, and without any how to say, but I like run normal for me, not very good, but normal for my form, and I finished 40th.
40th.
Yes.
Okay.
So
But it was your first time on that terrain, and that's a very technical descent coming from the plateau, Zanaria.
Yeah, but
NFS.
I mean the competition there was wow. And you have experience with this kind of competition. Let's say a few words about where are we right now, because this podcast is going to be ready after this event that we are going to participate tomorrow.
So who knows how we'll do, but I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, this is a park in the south of Gran Canaria. The town is called Maspalomas. It's a tourist town, really. It's hotels and facilities for holidaymakers. So it's not really the authentic Gran Canaria. For that, you have to go into the mountains and see the villages. But that's exactly where we'll be running through tomorrow. The advanced trail, it's about 84 kilometers. We go from Agete in the northeast of the island, or is it northwest? Northwest, I think. Yeah, northwest to Maspalomas, where we are now.
How many elevation we have?
Well, they say it's 4,900, but
what do you think?
I don't know. I've loaded it up in a few applications and it's less.
A little bit less, but
then again,
it's enough. I think it's good elevation.
And these guys, I mean, it's one of the oldest ultra races in Spain. They're professional. If they say it's 4,900, I'm not doubting them.
It's a big organization.
Yeah.
And you are here from 2 weeks already?
Yeah, so I've been on the island for 2 weeks, but I've been really in the center, which is where the highest mountains are. It's a completely different landscape. It's very green, lush vegetation, almost like a jungle in places. Yeah, because there was a lot of rain in the last weeks. But the weather changes quickly. One moment it's raining, the next cloud comes over, and then the sunshine.
And thunders? Is there any thunders here? No, only raining?
Not at this time of year, yeah. There's even been a little bit of snow.
Snow?
Yeah, on the high peaks.
And you made a very good training block, I think, with a lot of elevation, a lot of
I don't know about that.
Kilometers.
So usually what happens is when I'm running in a new place, I'm like a tourist, so I'm exploring. And that means you stop, you start, you take photos, you look at your watch, you look at the map for directions. So I don't know if I really did like consistent running any day. I was stopping and starting, but there were definitely some big days, like 5, 6, 7 hours. And yeah, I really enjoyed it. Over the winter, in December and January, I was visiting my parents, and I didn't have access to the mountains, so I was quite limited, and it was great to come back to the mountains here.
And listening to you, there is one question jumping in my head. What is the main reasons that you like this kind of races? Is it the competition by itself, or the connection with the nature, or something else? What are the main things that you love and like in this practice that we have?
I think I love all kinds of running. I mean, I don't discriminate really. I like to run on the road sometimes. I'll even do a 10-kilometer race, a half marathon. But
road races also you run?
Yes, but I prefer trail races. And although I know I'm not the best climber or descender, especially on technical terrain, I really enjoy these challenging races. I also enjoy more runnable races, like the last race I did last year in Cappadocia. It's a very fast...
You win it there.
Yeah, it's a very different race to here. So I like both. You know, for me, I think it's good to get as much experience as you can at different types of races, different distances.
Have you ran marathon?
You know, this is funny because I've never actually run a road marathon, only a trail marathon. So I don't know.
Half marathon maybe?
Half marathon, yes.
And what is your score there? What is your result there?
So 1:11 or 1:10:50.
1:10. This is very good.
I don't really know. In the UK, I don't think it's anything special.
But in Bulgaria, look, I'm talking by the. I'm from Bulgaria, and there, when you say 1:10.5, it's quite good. It's quite impressive.
Yeah, I think I need to do another and update it because that was quite some years ago now. So yeah, I started doing road. I didn't even know that mountain running existed. Even in Spain, it's kind of underground, but once you get in and you discover this culture, it's something special. We were talking about this race. We were talking about the elite guys that are going to participate tomorrow with us, and you said that it's going to be very difficult to enter in the top 3 tomorrow. But like I know your history, you in Cappadocia, I saw your Facebook profile, and there I can see a lot of winnings in all kinds of races. Why do you think that tomorrow is going to be so difficult? The main track here is the classic, where are all the super guys. In our actually, I think every race has a lot of talent. The marathon, I mean, the guys there.
Yeah,
this afternoon we saw
today,
the winners come. They are also top elite runners. I think there are races and races, aren't there? And this is one of the big ones, not just in Europe but internationally.
It's like magnet. This Iceland, and here are coming people for this event from all over the world.
There are not many ultra trail races this time of year, unless you go to Australia or New Zealand, where it's summer. So this is really one of the only races in these winter months, and I think that the advanced race will be really competitive. Looking at the runners who are on the start list, I mean, we're talking about the top 10 will have more than 820 points in the ITRA ranking. I think it's a really good preparation race for athletes who want to do the World Championship in Austria this July, because the terrain is very well. It's not similar, because in Austria it will go higher, but the distance and the elevation game are the same, more or less.
Okay, so a lot of guys that are going in the World Champion.
So for the British runners, actually, this is something like a selection race. Like, the best runners will probably go to the World Championship, because...
And these guys are going to participate tomorrow with us?
Yeah, so there's a couple of really good British runners. I didn't know that it was a kind of selection race. It's not officially a selection race, but you know, we've been told basically to do this race if we want to be considered. So I think that also is part of why there are a lot of runners here. Maybe other nationalities, or rather the other federations from other countries, have said the same things to their athletes. I think it'll be fun. I'm not too worried about the other runners though, because I've learned a long time ago you can't control what anyone else does. So there's no point worrying, and there's no point trying to like base your run off someone else, because it's not a half marathon where it's a bit tactical. It's not 20k. It's ultra. And in this distance, you have to just run your own race.
And you never know what's going to happen.
Exactly. I think the last 20 kilometers, it's one big downhill really, and that's gonna be very interesting. Like, who's got fresh legs?
I was make some filming today to the marathon, and first 6 or 7 guys
Yeah.
were like the first was 1 minute
Okay.
or a little bit more. He was the strongest guy, the Kenyan guy. But after that, the second, the third, the fourth, the fifth, the sixth, they come like 50 meters one after another.
Right.
1 kilometer before the finish. It was crazy
Yeah,
race, crazy competition there.
Yeah, I mean, when you've got this level of competition, the gaps are in seconds, you know. I was surprised as well, just how close the top 3 were.
In our case, I think it's going to be a larger gaps in this kind of distances.
Yeah, maybe half an hour separating the top 10. But you never know. I mean,
so it will be, listening to your words, for me especially, it will be super achievement if I could reach the top 10 tomorrow. Listening to you.
I don't know, really. You can have a lot of great athletes run poorly, they can have nutrition issues, they can have accidents. I mean, you never know, really.
Yeah.
So yeah, we could both come in the top 10 and feel really satisfied, but I think we could both also come in the top 25 and feel really satisfied. Like if we feel that we ran our best out there,
yes,
maybe that's only good enough for 20th or 30th, but you know, that's okay, because you at least have the satisfaction of saying, I did my best.
I run good, I feel good,
yeah.
I finish strong. Yes.
Yeah, I've run races where I've won races and thought I'm not really pleased with how I did because I made a mistake, I got something wrong, and I realized that the position you finish is not necessarily indicative of how well you ran the race, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's not one and the same. Yeah, usually they are, but often you can do a very good performance and not get that top result you hoped for. So this is part of the sport, isn't it?
Listening to you, I understand that you are looking the big picture. We are not talking only about this race and this is the end.
Yeah.
Every race is like training for the other, or just a good time in the nature, no?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you asked me why I do these races. Part of the reason is the connection with the natural world, which I think is part of why most trail runners and ultra runners do what they do. But I would say that from the perspective of competition and doing bigger races, if you want to test yourself, you do have to run these events, because at some point you need to see where you are against the best runners in the sport. So that is partly why I'm here. It's the first race I've traveled specifically for. So yeah, I'm curious, but I'm not gonna make it the sole focus of my experience here, because I had a really nice time training. I've done 2 months, I think, of good consistent work, and I know that even if I don't finish the race tomorrow for some reason, that this experience is not a wasted experience. It's not really a failure. Like, the finish line is just, you know, it's one moment crossing it, and like you say, it's a test. You have an exam to see how well you can do. But if you fail the exam, that doesn't necessarily mean you haven't learned. Maybe it was due to other factors on the day. And with ultra running, because of the way the sport is, so many things can go wrong. Yeah. But that's the challenge.
It's not the track in the stadium, you know.
No.
You have clouds, you have thunder sometimes, like Olympus maybe.
Sometimes you have very problematic signs which confuse you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about.
Okay, tell me some words about how is the team with the nutrition about you? What is your favorite diet, and some practical things. Can you share some practical things with us about the eating? And after
okay.
that, I will ask you other things, practical.
So in relation specifically to these races, it's really important to practice your nutrition strategy. I think a lot of runners don't do that because most runners don't enjoy eating when they run, and they only do it maybe on their long runs, and it's not enough. So a lot of runners have problems. A lot of really good runners have problems with nutrition, and that spoils their races. So I think it's really important to practice eating regularly. And I think as a cyclist, or coming from that background, I have an advantage, because if you're a cyclist, you know you have to eat. Literally, you're going to bonk, you're going to blow up if you don't eat.
Okay.
So I think cyclists understand this. We eat every 20 minutes on the bike maybe, and we're adapted to that. Runners, they don't like eating, so they don't train eating enough, and that can cause problems. When it comes to diet more generally, I absolutely advocate a vegan diet. I'm vegan for ethical issues. I mean, for ethical reasons. But
how long ago did you adopted this diet?
About 8 years ago.
8 years,
I think.
okay.
8, 9. I'm not counting, but it's quite some time now. So I think I've forgotten exactly when. For me, it was a transition, learning about the reality behind animal agriculture. The suffering that takes place, but also the environmental reasons for going vegan, because I think that's now more apparent. We understand the problems with animal agriculture and how this affects the environment. I would say also that there is some advantage when it comes to performance. A lot of the time we're trying to recover as quickly as possible as athletes to get back out there and train again. And if you're eating a lot of meat, but specifically dairy, this is causing inflammation. So milk and cheese, this is very inflammatory for the body. So there's definitely reasons from a health perspective to adopt a plant-based diet, or at least reduce the amount of animal products.
And do you think that you have more endurance and faster recuperating from?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think most other vegan athletes who really focus on the quality of the food they eat would agree. Of course, as a vegan athlete, you could just eat the same food every day and it wouldn't be particularly healthy. But that's not really what most vegans are doing. Usually when you stop eating animal products, you really open your mind to all the other food there. And so you're eating a much greater variety of plant-based foods. And really, whether you're an athlete or not, that's what we should be doing to live a healthier. This is just understood now. We need to eat a wide variety of plants and food that is as close to its natural state as possible, so not refined or processed. So I feel like I benefited a lot from that, and it's a big part of my life, but so much so that I don't have to think about it anymore. It's not a challenge. A lot of people, they find it a challenge at first, but it's a learning process, and the more you learn, the easier it becomes.
Is it some process, long way process, or it's something that happens instantly? What do you think?
I think it depends on the individual and what their diet is and their eating habits are. If you're eating meat and animal products regularly as part of your daily diet, it's going to be very hard for you to change, because it's ingrained behavior, I suppose. But also these products are addictive, like cheese and dairy particularly. It's really addictive. So you can definitely feel a difference quickly. I think it's something like in 21 days the gut bacteria we have has changed completely. So you can end up craving new things in your life. You might think you're stuck craving what you've been eating the last decade, but actually by changing what you put in your mouth, you're changing your gut bacteria, and they are controlling your cravings.
Your thoughts also.
What you want, yeah, of course. And now we are understanding much more about the connection between the microbiome, so the gut and the brain, and how our behavior and our moods are all interconnected with our gut bacteria. And this is fascinating. My personal experience was that, I felt a lot better when I finally quit eating cheese. Of course, I liked the taste of cheese. It wasn't that I didn't like these products anymore. It was just that I made this conscious decision to align my behavior with my values, and I understood that sentient beings, they want to live, they don't want to suffer, and that if we can be happy and healthy without harming other living beings, why not? Why do I need to do that? It doesn't make any sense to me anymore. But it is a process. Not everyone can make that change like that. And I encourage anyone who's on that journey, wherever you are, there's no right or wrong way. You make your own decisions in life, and I feel like as we grow and as we learn, we make better decisions, and perhaps that's why we are seeing gradually, more in some countries than in others, a move towards eating more healthily, but also minimizing or reducing the amount of animal products in our diets, and also an awareness in the environmental crisis, and shifting our food production methods and the way we utilize resources. I think it's all kind of connected, really. Yeah, I agree. It's the society we live in, right? If you can show someone that you can be happy, you can be healthy, you can be successful, whatever that means to you, without eating animal products, then it's great. This is real advocacy without saying anything, just living our own example. And I think in a way this is how we make change in the world, whether it's your diet or being of service to others, just being a compassionate human being. You make an example and you lead by that example. People see your example and they follow, and that's the great thing about human beings, being influenced and inspired by each other. And I'm really happy if someone can see my small athletic success and say, okay, he can do it, so it can't be a nonsense diet, it can't be something that doesn't work, because I'm not the best vegan trail runner. There are many top runners.
Look Kilian, for example.
Yeah. I mean, I think he's transitioned in recent years. He's made better choices based on environmental reasons and ethical reasons. So, yeah, you don't have to look far. Maybe you're not a trail runner. Maybe you're doing something else in your life. But there are people who are kicking ass and doing great work in all areas, and they are advocates for veganism, and I'm really happy about that.
This episode of the running podcast is something different than normal. I'm really happy. I think we must go to take your beep number.
Yep.
Because the time is ticking away.
Yeah. But it was a pleasure talking.
It was real pleasure.
This bench has been good to us.
Yeah, it was real pleasure. I'm sure that tomorrow we will have very good time.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. How was your sleep last night?
I'm good.
Yeah?
It was everything. It's okay.
Okay.
I will try to put some info in this podcast because it's going to be after the race.
Okay.
So here we are going to see the results of the race.
Okay. No pressure.
So here we have more motivation to do better things. Of course, I'm not going to be angry with you if you are in front of me. This is something.
I hope to see you in front of me. I want to see you there to chase you down again.
I think that in these trail races, the more competitive are. This is my history with my friends. The more we compete in some races, the more friends we are after that.
Yeah, absolutely. That's another thing I love about this sport. Sorry, I just have to add this.
Yeah.
It's that you can be on the start line with like a complete mix of people. One person can be the world champion, the next person is a beginner, and you really want to, you know, do your best, but you also want the other guys to do their best. And there's not this kind of negative competitive aspect of trying to better the other person in a negative way.
Sometimes I even I'm happy when somebody do some good stuff, good race, and have a good time. I'm really happy. I don't know why, but this is what is happening.
For sure.
Okay, so thank you very much about this conversation.
Yeah, thank you. Next time I ask the questions to you, okay?
Okay, super. I wish you a really successful race tomorrow, to me too, and to Sneji, she's with us, and hope to see you soon.
Okay.
Bye guys.
Owen Davies from Great Britain.
Okay friends, we are here with Owen. The party is over. For me the party finished a little bit earlier. I'm DNF, but Owen made a spectacular race. He finished 4th in one minute after the third, or
about 1 minute.
About 1 minute, 5 minutes after the second, and 15 minutes after the first. Please tell something about yesterday. Was it a great party for you?
Yeah, I had a great time. I really enjoyed the race. It was a privilege to run through such a beautiful environment and also to compete against such high-level athletes. We were really pushing each other and changing places right up until about 50 kilometers. For the first 50 kilometers it was very, very close, and the big long downhill caused some separation. I'm really happy with how it went.
Will you come in Bulgaria this year?
I'd like to, yeah.
Okay.
It's a really beautiful country for exploring.
Yeah, Pirin.
Not just Pirin, but all the other mountains you have.
Yeah.
You guys are spoiled. So many options.
We have mountains. Now we have to train more.
Yeah. You have to recommend me some places. I'll be very happy to visit again.
So it was a pleasure to speak with you, to meet you.
Very good to meet you, Ivo.
I will be happy to participate with you again in some races.
I'll be following your progress.
Yeah, really nice time here in the Canarian Islands. Thank you for your time, and I wish you to have healthy and strong here.
Thank you, I appreciate that. You too.